Hey guys, my name's Miranda and today I'm here to discuss the Red, White, and Royal Blue movie adaptation that came out earlier this week. So I watched this with two of my friends that had also read the book, and I feel like that is the optimal viewing experience. I feel like this one needs to not only not be watched alone, if you can find other people who have read the books and know the characters, I think that helps, just because certain things that you're reacting to where you're like, is that really how? They're like, no, and it makes it a collective unit, you know? So I really enjoyed the experience, if anything. Like, I literally texted them after we watched it, and I was like, don't know how I feel about the movie, but viewing experience, 10 out of 10, one of my favorites. I had initially said, like, when the trailer came out and everything, I was kind of iffy about this movie adaptation. I do really like the book, but I just felt like from what we had been seeing, and granted it wasn't a lot, the leads didn't seem like they had chemistry. I wasn't super certain in the actors they had chosen for Alex and Henry, particularly Henry because of him being in Cinderella. It wasn't the greatest movie, but he really put his whole heart into that. So yeah, I was a little iffy, and then reviews and kind of tweets were starting to come out about the movie as it was released. So I don't think my expectations ever rose completely, but I do have to say it definitely wasn't as terrible as I was thinking it was gonna be. It's definitely a confusing movie. It's confusing to walk away from, and I do wonder, like, someone who hadn't read the book, what they would think of the movie, just because I feel like so much character-wise, plot-wise is cut out of the movie that even being invested in this relationship just from, like, the book-wise, you kind of feel like it's so rushed in the movie. Like, we were even talking about, like, when they first kiss at the New Year's party, we, like, paused it and we're like, wait. So from what we've seen, they hated each other, had one nice moment where they kind of connected, had a minute and a half montage of them, like, texting and stuff like that, and then now all of a sudden, like, they're kissing, and I get that, like, Henry was, like, in love with him from the start or whatever, and, like, obviously Alex had feelings for him and not realized it, but just pacing wise it felt very strange, and it felt like there was more of a focus on, like, the physical aspects of their relationship instead of, like, also building up, like, the emotional and just showing them first be friends, start to see the things they have in common, the things that they like about each other and are surprised about each other. Like, I, for one, was brokenhearted they didn't keep in that really cute scene where he's visiting him and Alex is up at night and Henry's like, I didn't realize you wore glasses, and it's just, like, cute stuff like that, I think, of them, like, surprising each other. I feel like I wish we could have seen more of it. So I did see this really good post on Tumblr because I feel like it sums up my feelings kind of perfectly, so I wanted to share it because, like, it's perfect, honestly. Hold on, just gotta get through the 35 gifs from the movie that I liked earlier today. Okay, so here it is. This is from Maya, obviously. It says, Red, White, and Royal Blue is the worst movie I've ever seen. It's the perfect movie. The original dialogue is stupid. The original dialogue is hilarious. It laughs into the face of the source material. The pacing is horrible. The pacing is amazing. The actors are beautiful. The actors look nothing like the book characters. They deleted June and Leo and Liam and Raphael Luna and gave us some weird little reporter boy. They say, history, huh? In the museum scene. Alex knows he likes boys. Alex is still confused about liking Henry. It makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. It's my favorite movie. Don't watch it. Like, that's literally how I felt about it, because it was like keeping score almost watching it of, like, they do things where I'm like, oh, that's cute, and then they'd say something else and I'm like, nope, we're taking points away for that. The iconic line that, like, literally after they said it, I had to write it down as a note in my phone because I was like, I need to remember this forever and always, was when after they kissed and Alex was talking about, like, being confused about how he was feeling. His friend was like, oh, well, how did it make you feel? And he was like, he kissed me and he pulled my hair in a way that made me finally see the difference between football and rugby. And, like, he said that and there was just this, like, heavy silence. Like, you know when it's, like, silent when you're watching a movie, but there's, like, a weighted silence to it? And then at the same time, we just had different levels of, what the fuck does that mean? Like, it was just so strange. And I do think the chemistry was a big part that I was curious to see how that was gonna be. And we were even talking about it a little before the movie started, of saying that, like, it seems like they don't maybe like each other. Like, I don't know. It just seems like one of them is really into it and the other one is there, you know? So I do have to say I was completely wrong about Nicholas, who plays Henry. He put his whole self into this, okay? Like, he owned every moment. He was like, I am making this the movie. He really made me love Henry. Like, I obviously already loved Henry, but here's the thing. I loved Henry so much I didn't care for Alex that much. Like, I liked him, he was fine, but I felt like in their relationship, it seemed like Henry was doing a lot more of the heavy lifting and being like the romantic cute one than Alex was. Like, I felt like even the scene at dinner, like estate thing, where he was like, we're gonna stay 500 feet away from each other for the rest of the night, and then you're gonna come up to my room and I'm gonna do bad things to you. And then they come up and like it's just Henry that does something. Like, we're all like, okay, so no reciprocation? Like, we were just, it was so awkward. And then even like they had a scene where they were talking afterwards, they were in their robes eating like chocolate mousse or something, I don't know what it is. Henry's like, what's your favorite movie? Like, a normal question, right? And then Alex is just like, have you ever had your heart broken? And then Henry's like, yeah, the day my dad died. And we're like, wow, way to really bring that one down. Like, it just seems like Henry's so sweet and caring, and Alex is just, again, likes him, but just like, I feel like I didn't get the same emotion from him. There was also a tweet I saw that I really loved. So many good moments, guys. Like, social media is kind of the caring of this. Like, you know it's a good movie if like social media has so many good reactions to it. But I saw this one and it literally made me laugh so hard. Let me find it. And it was, you think Nicholas was in another movie with how much he does with his face in Red, White, and Royal Blue, and someone tweeted that and said, Nicholas thought this was Pride and Prejudice, and Taylor, well, he's very beautiful. And like, I honestly felt like that, because like, Nicholas had me like in the throes of emotions with everything with him, right? Like, even when I was like, wow, this kiss is pretty quick, like, to be happening, like, I felt it. The scene that got me the most emotional, I think, was when he was confronting Alex, or Alex was kind of confronting him, being like, why are you ignoring me, blah, 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 like, why'd you cut me off? He was basically saying, like, politics or the crown, like, I'm not trading one prison for another. And he's like, I can love you, I can want you, and I cannot at the same time like want that for myself, and I'm allowed to do that. And I was like, heck yeah, you are. Like, he killed that scene of just like making it so obvious of like, you know, you're trading in like one life of like being careful of what you're saying and cultivating an image, and it's all about how the public reacts to you, for another one, because obviously like Alex plans to be president someday. So I just thought that was really sweet, and like he totally had me in that moment. A moment he lost me in was when he randomly walked up behind him and said, do you want to make love? That was a lot. There was definitely, like I said, a very big focus on like the physical intimacy, and again, I just wish they had put in the emotional intimacy as well with that. And we were also like, the first time that they like properly made love, according to Henry, we were like, okay, that happened way too, like, it was literally just like, oh, he's in there. There was nothing about it. But I really did love Henry's character. I loved, they had this scene where they were hooking up and the Secret Service agent walks in, and I love when he just like starts like pretending to read the books. That was cute. His Bitmoji was so cute. We cracked up at that with the little like thing. And then I feel like I really liked a lot of the side characters, and I wish they had gotten more screen time. Even just like meeting his sister, I feel like there's obviously so much, you know, in the books with her that we could have gotten more of. Percy was totally thrown to the side. Like, it felt like all the side characters were basically just there to serve Alex and Henry's characters, which sucked because we know from the books they're their own fully fleshed characters that have their own like thoughts and feelings and desires, and I would have liked to see more of that. And I even think like Zara, the scene where like she caught them in the hotel room, she was like freaking out, and he's like, okay, breathe, like, do you need to sit? She's like, yeah, I do. Like, that was funny. Like, I wish we could have seen more stuff like that, of more of them like kind of keeping it a secret and stuff like that. I think that would have been cute. I did love Uma Thurman's character. She was amazing, and I loved her whole scene when he came out to his mom, and she had that whole thing of like, okay, well, now we've got to get you on this. Like, it was just really great. The editing was certainly an interesting choice. I particularly was not a fan of the beginning montage where they were like talking to each other, but they'd have them in the same room. Like, how hard is it to do a split screen? They did it like 2 other times at the end of the movie, and we were like, this just would have felt so much less awkward. What if it, definitely if it was a split screen, but also like the scene where they were on the bed like talking to each other, but they're on the phone. At the end, they like make it so his voice starts to change, so like he's back on the phone, but then like they're both still in the bed together, and it was certainly a choice. And then the cringiest moment for me was definitely the New Year's Eve party where they're dancing to Get Low and everyone else bends down, and it's just like them two still staring at each other. It was the strangest thing I had ever seen. It was basically like a high school production that didn't have the budget for practical effects, so they were like, we're just gonna make the characters actually do this. It literally, like, a part of me left my body at that moment. I was like, that is so cringe-inducing. Yeah, not great. The dance choices, like the songs, not great. The cover that they picked for I Can't Help Falling in Love with You was a very interesting choice. I also love that Alex pulled that up so quick. I was like, is he connected to the museum Wi-Fi? Like, how did this happen? And the dancing, Like, I feel like it felt cute, but like even I was with my friends and I was like, I feel like we could dance more romantically than that. Like, it just seemed like there's like a disconnect sometimes between them. And I think it's also like going from like watching Heartstopper earlier this week where the two leads have such good chemistry and so like you can see clearly love each other and trust each other, going to this where it just seems like, yeah, maybe they like each other, but it doesn't seem like they're fully committed, or at least one of them isn't fully committed to like going all in and making this seem like a real relationship. It just, I don't know. I think because it was rushed, like I said, and I feel like because they made Alex's like character just not as romantic as Henry's character, you felt like Henry kind of deserved better by the end. You were kind of like, what did Alex really do for him? Which is sucks because like obviously in the books there's so much more to see and to see like both ends of it. So I walked away being majorly impressed by Nicholas. Like I said, Henry's character, love him. He's a sweetheart. There were some moments that made me absolutely crack up. I can't lie to you about that. And overall, I just agree with the people that think it should have been turned into like a limited TV series because I feel like a lot had to be cut out and sacrificed. And even like we're watching it and like these like random scenes, like there's like a 30-second scene of like Henry's grandpa like getting a cigarette and then walking over getting wine, walking back and sitting down, and we're like, see, this whole like minute long scene could have cut it to just give us any more development of Henry and Alex's character. And there's even like a part now that I'm remembering too where like Alex is like, oh, we can do all this next year, like we'll hold hands, and like Henry's like clearly freaking out, and I could see maybe like you don't realize that, but then he literally rolls off the dock to get away to the conversation and swims away, and then they show him leaving, and the next thing we see is like as he's leaving, Alex is like in bed asleep. So I'm like, okay, in no time of all that happening, of like Henry literally swimming away from a conversation, did Alex think like, oh, we should talk about this, and like seemed surprised. I was like, I don't know. And then the email hack at the end also confused me because I was like, in the books, we know it's emails, but from the movie, all we saw them really do was text or call, right? Like, I don't remember actually seeing them email anyone. And then I did love, too, at the end with, like, all the supporters coming to the palace to, like, show their support for Henry. I love that, like, could they not afford, like, a real cast of, like, just extras from protesters and we could only see, like, the reflection of it? Like, there were just some things where I was like, okay, clearly if they had a bigger budget, I think they could have done it more. But yeah, it needed to be a limited TV series, I think, because then we could have got more of the side characters who I feel like kind of just got pushed to the side literally when like they're just as interesting and entertaining. Yeah, again, great movie, fun to watch. Would I definitely watch it again? Yes. Do I think it's a good book to movie adaptation? Not really. Like there's just things that I'm like, oof, and then there's things that like just make me laugh. Like we were cracking up when they were first talking and they were talking about Queen Victoria or whatever, and Alex just goes, yeah, Vicky, like that made us laugh so much. But then like the rugby football line, I'm like, what the frick are you even talking about right now? I think it was pleasantly surprising in the viewing experience with it. I think had I watched it alone and just been like looking off to the camera like, what the fuck, like when I'm watching it, it wouldn't have been as fun. But to have people who would also enjoy the book and were also like, what's going on at certain points, made it so worth it, and I can't wait to watch it again, honestly. If you have seen the movie, please let me know what you thought about it down below in the comments, what you thought. Like I said, my problems were the pacing, the characters in some points, particularly Alex, I felt like just was not up to par. Henry, the man killed it. Like, all the awards to him, and I'm so excited now to see him in Bottoms, because I feel like this cemented for me that, like, he is a really good actor. So, for that and that alone, I'm happy, and I also loved the shout-out we got to them reading One Last Stop. And yeah, overall, I just think it's cute, but I definitely think the book is better. So yeah, if you have seen it, like I said, let me know what you thought about it down below in the comments. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!